Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm one of the clinical psychologists here at Prosper Health Collective, and today I'm going to talk to you about collaborative care. As part of the focus for this month's vlogs and blogs, it is on how to get better outcomes from the services that you engage in. So I wanted to talk to you about collaboration. Currently at Prosper, we offer a range of different services, including psychology, speech, and occupational therapy. When I sat down to do this video, and I'll also be putting up a blog, there were about 4 aspects or 4 main areas that I thought were important to collaborative care. The first is commitment to the process. As therapists, we've done a number of years of training to get to a point where we are able to support you with helping to develop the skills that you're needing to face the challenges that you are, or to help you to function in your day-to-day life. So when we are here and we are committed to the process, so part of it is then thinking from you as a client, are you able to commit to the process? More often than not, therapy, whether it's psych, speech or OT, isn't necessarily short term, and it does require commitment to regular sessions. Sometimes they might be weekly, fortnightly, monthly, depending on yours or your family's needs. So before you're engaging, it's important to think about how the sessions are going to fit in your life. Do you have time, flexibility and availability to commit to the process? Where does seeking therapy for you or your child or your family lie within your priorities? Maybe things might need to shift or change in order to make this a priority, particularly if it is impacting on your functioning. So thinking about that before you're engaging in services is important, because once you start, it is important to be able to commit to the process with regular appointments in order to get the best or better outcomes from the service. The other thing is often there will be practice tasks or things to do outside the session. So again, thinking about your availability, how it's going to fit in your life, and whether you are able to commit to doing things outside the session as well as attending regular sessions. If you're not at this stage, then thinking about where seeking therapy, whether again it is psych, OT or speech, fits within the priority of things in your life. And the other thing to think about is connection with the clinician. So it's important as part of the process, in order to get the most out of it, is that you feel a connection with your therapist. This is important because we want the sessions or the therapy room to be a place where you or your family or your child feels comfortable to be able to bring difficult things. You often are working on things that maybe are uncomfortable or unpleasant, and so having that connection with your therapist is important to be able to kind of feel like you're in a team facing the challenges together. If that connection isn't there, it can mean maybe you're not as committed to the process, maybe you feel like you can't share things, or and it might end up with you kind of thinking, oh, I might disengage. So again, you're not kind of getting the most out of it if again you are missing sessions because you don't really feel like there's a connection there. At Prosper, we have a number of different therapists in the different areas, so we do always try to, when you inquire, to best match you with a clinician based on your preferences, the type of approach and your needs. But sometimes, because we are humans, maybe that connection isn't there. We all have different personalities and approaches. So if you don't feel like you have a connection with your therapist, it's important to let them know, or to let our admin staff know if you don't feel that connection, and hopefully we can find a different clinician to suit your needs, depending on what you felt or why you felt there wasn't that connection that you needed was there. The other thing is shared goals. So as a client, when you're starting therapy, we'll always ask you what your goals are. What are you hoping to get out of these sessions? Where do you see yourself in a month, 6 months, a year's time? And how can we help support you in meeting these goals? It's also important to consider that when you're coming to these sessions, that the therapist will do a formulation based on the presenting problems, your history, what things are kind of going on that might be impacting your functioning. So they might also have ideas around what they think is important. So having that connection again is important because you want to feel that your therapist is really on your side and that you guys are a team. So whilst you might think that certain goals are important, the therapist might also think that maybe some different goals are important. And so in those sessions, it is constantly reviewed. Your goals are constantly reviewed throughout the therapy process. But it's important for you guys to be able to talk about, okay, why are these goals important? Maybe it is like, okay, we'll try this goal for a few sessions, and if you're finding we are having blocks or barriers, then maybe we need to revisit our goals and slightly change them. So again, having that relationship is really important to be able to talk to each other when maybe you don't feel your goals align, and kind of working that out in terms of what goals you are actually going to focus on in session. Lastly is communication. So again, having that connection, being able to have shared goals that you know you're working together. Communication is really important, not only in the session, but also outside the session. So as I said, we're all humans and life happens. So communication about whether you can't make appointments or whether there are things that have come up in your life that are impeding your ability to attend. These are important, just as we would, as therapists, contact you if something came up in our own life as to why maybe therapy might be affected or things like that. That's one part of it. Another part is just regular communication. So again, we will send out reminders about the appointments and things like that. So again, if you can't make them or things come up, having that communication is important. It's important to be able to have contact about, I guess, not only within the client, within the family, but also contact with other people that are important to the client's life. So for example, often with working with children, that might be having contact with other clinicians, so psych, OT, speech, working together, but also maybe teachers or pediatricians, doctors, psychiatrists. That level of communication is also important to your care and getting the most out of them. So if there are important people or people in your life, being able to have that communication with everyone is also very important. So I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. So as I said, those were the 4 areas I think were important to collaborative care and helping you to get the most out of your sessions. So committing to the process, having that connection with your clinician, having those shared goals, and communication. As I said, at Prosper, we offer a range of services, including psych, OT, and speech. So if you or your family member are interested or are needing to access some of our services, please contact us here at Prosper. Hope you all have a lovely day. Bye.